Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. This is my second video of 2026. Last week kind of skipped out on it because work got a little busy, but today I got a little bit of time. Missing out on the nice sunset we could be having if it wasn't snowing out here in Michigan, but what are you gonna do? We ball either way. But today I wanted to make a video about assumption, basically, about expecting something from an action, expecting something from something, the assumption of a certain result. The reason why I wanted to talk about this is because recently I've been noticing myself going through mental loops about a situation I went through a few months ago, and I've been realizing that I'm finding it hard to find clarity in that situation. Like, I want a certain outcome, I feel like I want a certain outcome, but I'm not getting it, so I'm looping over and over and over, and my mind is just trying to find answers, when in all honesty the answer is not there, or the answer is showing itself already, but I'm refusing to take it. I don't know if you guys have been through a situation like that before, but I'm currently going through that right now, and I was having a conversation with my brother who was going through something similar, and it's kind of interesting because I was able to give him advice about that situation that I would need myself. It wasn't until after I ended a conversation with him and I sat there with my thoughts a bit, and I was like, this is advice I could use. So today I wanted to talk about the 3 things that I told him and that I realized that I needed myself, and tell you guys about it. So maybe if you guys are also going through this mental loop and trying to figure out how to get away from this assumption of wanting a certain outcome, that you'll be at peace. So number 1 is to not put your problems over yourself. One thing that I realized that I usually do sometimes, and I did during this little situation, was that I was looking at my problems like as they were above me, when in reality you aren't. The problems aren't above you. If anything, you're actually equal to your problems, or you're above it. Because I live by a very beautiful saying, and that is, you are never put in a situation you can't get out of. And really do think about that. Throughout life, you have been through hardships, you have been through failures, you have been through hard times, and yet you are still here, and you have gotten past them every single time. Which is the reason why I say you can't put your problems above you. Either you're equal to them, or you're actually, in most cases, you're above your problems. So you should never look at your problems as too grand. Look at them as you being in a situation where you can actually get out of that thing. So that's number 1. That's what I told my brother. And I was like, dang, well, I can use that same advice as well. And then number 2 is to realize that, and I think I talked about it in my last video, but you already know the answer to the situation. Oftentimes we turn a blind eye to what the answer really is because we want a specific outcome. That's the reason why I plan on probably titling this video the assumption of an outcome or whatever. I'll figure that out. But basically, we always want an expected result out of something. And sometimes when we're going through situations, the answer is clear, it's right there, but that's not what we want. We want it to end in a specific way. When in reality, the answer is showing itself. Why don't you take it for what it is and move forward? It's kind of being slightly detached that helps in those type of situations, right? Not expecting a certain outcome, not expecting that it's gonna go your way. Another beautiful saying that I like to live by, this one is actually a little bit harder to implement sometimes, but it's that you may want something that's good for you, but it's actually bad for you, and you may dislike something that is potentially you think is bad for you, but it's good for you. So when you really put that into this context of what I'm talking about, you realize that you shouldn't be outcome dependent. Do what you can in the present moment. Throw away any sort or assumption of wanting a specific outcome. By the way, I just figured out the title. I just said it right then and there. But anyways, throw away any assumption of a specific outcome you might want and just act, be present. Because the answer is already there. And so that you're easily more receptive to whatever happens out there. So if you're trying to figure out a problem, trying to figure something out, when the result does come, you're not going to be fighting yourself, oh, that's not what I wanted. No, it's what's best for you in that moment at least. And you'll notice in many times than not, you actually end up getting the situation you want just by being slightly detached. And that actually goes right into the last thing, and that is to be detached. Be slightly nonchalant, you know? Not in a way where you just don't give, but in a way where you're not pedestalizing your issues, you're not pedestalizing the problem. You're not looking at it like, oh my goodness, I can't get off. Nah. Be calm, be chill. In most cases, like I said in the beginning, you are bigger than your problems. You are above them. You don't need to pedestalize it and look at it as this thing you can't overcome, because you can. In many cases, if you really think about your life in general, you have been through worse and you have made it out. That's what always gets me through situations where I'm feeling down or situations where I'm feeling like I can't get out. I always think about situations where I was in an even worse situation, where I was in an even worse situation. I know I repeated myself, but where I thought I could not make it out of a situation, and yet I did. And in most cases, I know you always do. And being slightly detached, slightly nonchalant to your issues. Not saying you don't care. Again, I'm not saying just pretend like the issue doesn't exist, because that's another thing. But being slightly detached, being slightly nonchalant to your issues, being calm, cool, composed. You kind of have this aura about yourself where you're just like, you know what? If it figures itself out, it figures itself out. And it will figure itself out, because it always does. So I hope this video fills you guys with some good knowledge. This is something that I had to kind of get out of myself with my brother, and then realize, sheesh, I needed it myself. Because I've been spiraling down some thoughts recently, and sometimes I sit there and try to like resolve them on my own, but I'm realizing, oh, this ain't working. But when I talked to my brother and told him, and the situation was very similar, it became apparent that, yeah, this is something I can definitely get past. So hopefully you guys take some good advice from this video. Of course, it was to me first before to you guys. Let me know what y'all think. Until the next one.